Welcome back. We're gonna do another trade review looking at a $5,000 banger of a swing trade, guys. But before we jump into that, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I know you want to if you want to learn how to trade. I also have a community. Hit the link. You know what it is, guys. You're a trader. You've done this all before. But yeah, let's get into it. Go ahead and record my screen full, and I need my charts actually. So for this one, well, let's actually just look at the trade, right? So made $5,241 on this trade, and you can see that the entries and exits were right here at the open. So this was actually an overnight swing. So we need to look at ES overnight for this day, which is Thursday, I think December. Oh, this is the daily. I don't want the daily. I want the let's look at the 15 actually, which is my bottom right chart, and we can actually just do one of these. Don't worry, guys, I got you. The Wednesday, is it Wednesday the 21st? Yes. This was the chart we need, guys. So look at this level here, which I will do with option J right in this white line. We came up on Wednesday, December 21st, and we touched this level. We see we breached this kind of big level a little bit, but ultimately we carved out this zone here around 39.1925, right, that we just could not breach on ES. We came up and wicked it. So what I did was I said, we had this strong green action, right? We had this really strong demand zone here. We came up, touched this zone here, which I believe is, this looks like it was demand as well. I don't think if this was a supply zone. Yeah, so there's some supply over here, but ultimately we had this area that has a ton of market participation, right? We can see all the participation that was at this price range, right? We didn't move past it. We did not move past it. So that tells me, okay, we're probably going to reject. Now, am I an oracle? Did I know that we were going to reject? No, that's just me playing the odds, right? And being part of a trader is finding an edge and playing that edge. If it doesn't play out, you play the edge again, and then more times than not, it works in your favor. That's all I'm doing here, guys, right? So I see this. I see that there's a ton of participation here. We refused to break through, right? We bounced off, came up, bounced off. And this is the 15-minute chart, by the way, right? So these are pretty strong rejections. So I took puts, and those puts ultimately turned into this on SPX, right? So that's the chart on ES. This is SPX. And I made, 254% ROI on this trade. What was even worse about this trade, though, is that I sold these contracts for, I sold these for $18.36, right? These contracts went to $100 on this day, guys. This was only three contracts, not even that crazy of a swing. This easily could have been a $30,000 trade. And I even called it. I was like, man, as soon as I sell these, I know that this is going to keep running. But that's okay. I would have been happier if I held this just a little bit longer, maybe grab 15 grand, half of that. I sold this right at the open. You see I took profits here, and then I believe oh yeah, that was the latest contract I sold here, right? So if I wanted to hold a little bit longer, I could have. Why didn't I? Well, the morning when we have these aggressive actions, especially when we have a gap, right, it's not unlikely for us to reverse, guys, and close this gap. So hindsight is 2020, right? And as clear as it was for me to take that put, it was not clear for me at all, and with what I am capable of trading now, to hold that put. And so I'm okay knowing the risk that I sold. If I had more contracts, and this was a light swing, I wanted to lean into it more, but I was tired. If I had like 10 or so contracts, I would have left, maybe 3 or 4 runners and let those run all day. But I only had 3 contracts, and so I really just wanted to take my profit. 5 grand is a great trade for what this trade was, right? So not mad about it at all. And a really, really clean example, again, of the types of setups that you should be looking for, guys. When you see something like this, right, compared to whatever this is or whatever this is, right? I mean, I'm doing this for the sake of example, right? This is a very clear picture of a trade that you can take, right? And as I evolve more as a trader, these are the types of things, that I'm looking for. Trading really is infinite. There's all different types of trades that you could take. Ultimately, you just have to find a system that works for you. I've been watching a ton of videos recently. We'll just talk a little bit, from S&B Capital and a bunch of other traders about, trading psychology and how to approach the market. And ultimately, all of that is just helping me, hone my own strategy as a trader. I haven't changed too much. I have started trading on higher time frames. I'm also considering, though, and this might blow you guys' mind, trading on the 1 minute. I've been reviewing every single one of my trades. So I go through, and TradeZilla has every single trade that I've ever done. I've been reviewing all of my trades and I've been looking at some of the setups in the 1 minute, and I'm like, I think there's a lot of trades that I could take based off of pivots, right? Dynamic levels, pre-market highs, pre-market lows, morning highs, morning lows, or session highs, session lows, whatever you want to call them, right? I don't get too hung up on semantics. There are some clear setups in the 1 minute, I believe. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that with futures. Actually, I'm not going to do it with options because I don't want to get blown out the water. Just trading like literally one, futures contract and see how well I can snipe those. If I could snipe those well, it's going to change the whole game, right? Because now I can get in, get out, get in, get out, right? Even if I just, let's just say one ES futures contract, right? At $50 a point. If I write at 10 points up, that's $500. Right at 10 points down, that's $500. Right at 10 points up, that's $500. Do that with 2 contracts, 3 contracts, you get the picture. Do it with 5 contracts, right? You get the picture. So that was this trade. The next best trade on the day, which I do think is important to call out, is we came down, we sold off, we sold off, we sold off, and then we have this bottom pivot, right? If you look at the shape of this graph for this entire day, where else do we have this, right? Nowhere. Literally nowhere else on the chart. Oh, well, we have it over here kind of, which is another, kind of bottom pivot into, buying into the close here. Right, so this is a really clear sign, and there's a lot of subjectivity to this, guys. Right, you're probably looking at this and like, mate, Forrest, what are you seeing? Like this is what I'm looking at right here, guys. Right, these 2 bars, which I'm circling, and yeah, you have to be able to identify changes in behavior of the charts. And I say behavior, I like to think the market as a beast. There's a majillion different ways. Let's keep that as a word. There's a majillion different ways to think about the market. Ultimately, what I've realized, when it's supply, demand, it's VPA or whatever, it doesn't actually matter what the market is. What matters is how you perceive it and what you do with that information, and then the conclusions that you draw, right? So what matters more is the process, whether the terminology is right, whether it's a beast, whether it's VPA, whether there's market makers, whatever you believe actually doesn't matter. When I listen to different traders who are successful, what matters most is that they have a very clearly defined understanding of the market and its behavior based off of what their understanding of the market is, right? So we all know that a dog is going to bark and act like a dog. We know that a duck is going to quack like a duck, right? You need to know what the market is going to do. Whatever that thing is, when you understand what the market is and what it's going to do, then you can act accordingly. What most new traders, the problem that they have is that they don't know what the market is. They haven't figured it out. They don't have a simple association or understanding of how this thing is going to move and act and whatever it's going to do, right? So the other point I would add to that, though, is that is always changing too, right? So once you have an understanding of what this beast is, I like to think of the market as like an animal, right? And every single underlying ticker is kind of its own beast, right? Which is why different strategies work on different tickers, etc. But you also have to update your understanding of that beast, right? Because it's ever changing, and the reason it's changing is because the market is made up of people, and we're changing. I'm changing, you're changing, the other people watching this video are changing. They're all updating their strategies, they're all updating their understanding. So there's this meta game of us all competing with and understanding each other and actively evolving this thing as we work to understand this thing at the same time so that we can make money from this thing. But that was a lot for this trade review. So yeah, really solid trade. Happy with this. Obviously, if I make $5,000 every day, that'd be a really good P&L. I don't right now, but one day I will. My goal for 2023 is to make a crap ton more money, do some more swing trades in general, swing trades, as I can identify them. I'll lean more into those, and those should substantiate a larger portion of my P&L outside of just, the daily trades that I do. But the market's still volatile. It's not a bad environment to day trade in at all. So while I do want to back into swing trading, by no means am I going to close my eyes to the days where we have, 50-point swings, which are, still more than a handful of times a month, right? So have to, again, understand the opportunity that's in front of you and work with it. But that's it for this one, guys. My name's Forrest. I invest in stuff you should too. See you in the next one.